Hey everyone, I'm Jamie and I hope you're having a fierce day. Today we're making the My Hero Academia Class 1A characters in The Sims 4. So first is Izuku, of course. While searching for good CC, I found out that there's a really limited amount of content for the main characters of MHA, let alone all of Class A, let alone all of Class 1B. So I went on a mini hiatus learning Blender and The Sims 4 Studio so I could fill in the gaps. For Izuku, I wanted to make a pretty accurate skin detail for his freckles and scars. Here you can see an extremely disturbing Silence of the Lambs looking stretched out skin. I started with a rough sketch of each scar and threw it into The Sims 4 Studio to see how everything lined up. From there, I just made adjustments so the seams would align. As you've probably noticed, I'm using a censored body. I ended up making a skin pack for MHA since I had to make skins for Mina and Karoiro and such, so this is the skin pack. But anyway, I made two versions of Izuku's body, one overlay with scars and one with just freckles. Next is hair. Botrum from Tumblr is a super amazing content creator, if you don't already know. They uploaded meshes for many of the MHA characters, specifically allowing re-uploads and edits without asking, which is so generous of them. So I made a set of recolors for each mesh. I'll leave their blog linked below as well. For the recolors, I added some finer hair texture and highlights, as well as an assortment of swatches, including villain versions, and I also tried to make it ship-friendly. For Izuku's body, I'm using a male base sim from Hitoribus on the gallery. I also created a set of MHA eyebrows, since I found that many of the characters have the same super short, brightly colored eyebrows. I also ended up creating an MHA eye pack with all of the eyes from Class 1A and Class 1B. For the body, I have a bunch of presets downloaded for superhero-like bodies, and this beautiful, fantastic UA jumpsuit is by Aizawasbby on Tumblr. I know there is a hero career mod that I think allows for life aspirations to be hero or villain related, but with just game aspirations, I guess the closest one would be Friend of the World. Izuku tends to become friends with everyone he meets, so I think it fits pretty well. I made him a geek because, well, he is, and I also made him good and ambitious. So here's our main character boy, super adorable, I think. Next is Ochako. For her skin detail, I made the pink cheeks and also gave her pink finger pads. I'm using a super cute base sim by Molly Mackenzie X. For Ochako's life aspiration, I was a little bit torn, but ended up giving her the fabulously wealthy aspiration. I wanted to do this instead of giving her the materialistic trait, because with the materialistic trait, she brags about her possessions and gets sad if she doesn't buy something frequently. And though Ochako is driven by money, she doesn't really spend it like crazy. So this way, she has the business savvy quality, but it isn't a defining character trait. I gave her cheerful, family-oriented, and outgoing. And here, really quick, you can preview some of the skin details I made. The cheeks, the hardening for Kirishima, scales for Class 1B, Dabi's skin, for some reason, because I thought it'd be fun to make. And here are the hair colors. Like I said, ship-friendly for all of y'all who want to see what their kids would look like, I don't know. As well as gray and white swatches for when the characters age, and black swatches to see what they'd look like in a quirkless AU. Just have fun with it, guys, I don't know. Okay, so I'm doing Koda next, so you guys can see how freaking cursed custom content is. I started with this base game robot mask since whenever I try to make meshes from scratch, it doesn't work. Basically, I just stretch out each of the vertices until I get the shape I want. And here you can see me making a very poor attempt at UV mapping, but it worked, so I'm happy. So bringing the UV map into Photoshop, I tried just pasting Koda's face onto the map, and here's where I should warn anyone who wants to make CC to just keep an open mind and be prepared for anything. I mean, it looks okay in Photoshop, then when you bring it in, Jesus Christ, pointy hamster rocket looking gumdrop thumb looking. Okay, so I'll just try to shift the face a little bit, right? And see how the symmetry looks, and holy sweet baby Jesus, Lord almighty, drunk chicken bootleg thumbtack acorn looking. Okay, so let's start with the original template tracing, and his eyes are gone. What the So after a lot of trial and error, we landed here, which is a lot closer, but still kind of looks like a Netflix adaptation. So into The Sims we go, basically just smacking the Koda head right onto this poor man, and this is what I call bootleg Koda, a warning to stay away from methamphetamines. Don't meet your heroes, kids, they might end up looking like this thing. Anyway, next is Iida. I'm using Aaron Kaiser from Sarah Katie. I made his eyebrows as well as his brothers, which you can see here, again in a variety of colors. Iida has a super boxy face, so I made it really angular. Botrum has these Iida glasses in transparent and shiny. I was so close to picking the reflective ones because they're just so funny, but for realism, I picked the transparent ones. For his aspiration, I picked successful lineage. I see this as not having successful children, but more as being a successful child. For his traits, I picked family-oriented because it gives your sim the option to brag about family members. I mean, how perfect is that? I also picked bookworm because of his freaking library of a room, and proper because I think he's unable to do anything mischievous. I ended up making a version of the UA gym uniform with the pants scrunched up by the knees. I was gonna make the weird leg things Iida has, but I didn't want any more nightmares, so I'm sorry. That would have been really hard and really traumatic. Next is Aoyama, super easy, super basic, using the hair mesh from DroSims on Tumblr and the eyes from my MHA eye pack. His aspiration was really hard to pick, so I just chose soulmate since it seems like that's his underlying goal. And he's definitely alluring since every time he's in a shot, he just stares seductively at the camera. I also made him self-absorbed since he's definitely all about the compliments, and squeamish since he tends to shriek a lot and gets sick when he uses his laser too much. Next is Todoroki. I wanted to create a more realistic version of his burn, which can be found in my MHA skin details pack along with Ochako's cheeks and Izuku's scars. We're using this Korean idol body from Sugare's, super handsome. I leaned out the body a bit and used the brows from Botrum. So here's the male light skin and the Todoroki scar detailed together. They layer really well along with the Todoroki heterochromia skin detail. Again, check out the villain and ship colors, really fun. I had a ton of fun with this. I didn't really know what his aspiration should be, but I thought that the knowledge aspiration was good because it gives your sim the fast learner trait. I picked Renaissance Sim since I feel like he wants to be good at a lot of things, I don't know. I made him gloomy since he's always very serious and he never really smiles. He's just a sad boy in general. He's also for sure a perfectionist. I was gonna make him unflirty, but he doesn't get uncomfortable around flirting, it just goes right over his head entirely, so instead I just made him a genius. Next is Momo. We're using Jisoo Blackpink from Sugare's. Again, we're using the brows from the MHA brow pack I made. A lot of the characters seem to have those little half brows. Her body was tough because she's pretty curvy, but I think the presets sort of conflict with the UA uniform and make it look really lumpy. But anyway, for aspiration, it's definitely nerd brain. She wants to be book smart and handy, which makes sense because she's the smartest in the class and also freaking makes cannons whenever she gets any chance whatsoever. My girl is obsessed with cannons. Of course she's a genius, a perfectionist. I was going to make her a snob or materialistic, but they didn't sit well with me. I don't know. So instead I picked bookworm since she loves reading and she has a ton of books in her room. Next is freaking Shoji. This is another CC nightmare. Starting with his dupli arm, I mean Jesus, this was really difficult. Basically, I stacked 4 of the default arms and made them a bit more muscular. Then I stretched out some of the vertices to make wingy things. For his hair, I just used one of the base game hairs and stretched it forward really crudely. It's so ratchet, oh my god. And his mask too was a pain. The final version's really finicky around the neck and the head sizes, but it's something. At least it wasn't as dramatic as crackhead Koda. In Creative Sims, he looks okay. I mean, it works. He's identifiable. I also made a version of the UA gym uniform sleeveless for him. So anyway, for his aspiration, I just made him strong too. I wasn't really sure what to do there. And I also chose good since he's really a great guy, always putting everyone before him. I also made him neat since he's a minimalist and his room was super clean. And I know he wears a mask for other reasons, but he just looks extra clean because of the mask. Finally, I made him love the outdoors. He just seems like the kind of guy that goes hiking. Next is Jiro using Michaela Martinez from Axel6699. I love her dead inside eyes. The awesome ear extensions are also from Botrum. For her aspiration, I made her a musical genius, which I know isn't exactly right because her real aspiration is to be a hero, but the trait it gave her was fitting. I made her a musical genius as well, and unflirty since she gets really uncomfortable around lovey stuff. And can I just say that I absolutely love the animation for unflirty. It gives me life. Like, this is so me. Oh my god. Her final trait is loner. I just see her playing music in her room alone and loving that over hanging out with a ton of people. Next is Kaminari. Again, here's a look into the process of hair recolors. This was really fun because of the little electric bolt. For him, we're using Osvaldo Fernandez by Sims by Rachel. I gave him a bunch of fun hair colors as well as a villain version. A lot of fan art depict villain Kaminari as having inversed hair, which is really cool. For his aspiration, I gave him serial romantic, and the trait romantic since he is flirty AF. But I also made him a goofball since he's not the brightest bulb in the shed, but he is definitely fun. Finally, I made him a bro since he loves hanging out with Kirishima and Bakugo and Sero, all honorary bros. And speak of the devil, next is Bakugo, using Hot Guy Aiden by Jupo45. First things first, we have to make those eyes really angy. The original model looked way too happy. I gave him super bright skin because my man's looks hella albino. Red eyes, platinum hair, come on, he's definitely albino. I also made sure to give him titties since Kirishima needs something to rest his head on. Anyway, his aspiration is bodybuilder to become as strong as possible. His traits were really easy: hot-headed, self-assured, and mean. What a catch. He really has the best developed personality, I think. Next up, of course, is Best Boy Kirishima, using Hot Boy Base Sim by Haramitha. First, I gave him his super cute little slanted eyes and his little eyebrows and his pretty red eyes and spiky hair. His shark teeth are perfect, again by Botrum. You can tell I have super unbiased commentary. His aspiration is bodybuilder as well. To get as strong as possible, I made him a bro since he's the broest bro of manliness. I also made him cheerful since he's always happy and excited to be alive. Finally, he's active since he loves working out and he has a punching bag in his room. And though I'm not using his hardening skin for his base build, I created a skin overlay for it as well as a version of his skin with just the little eye scar. Perfection. Next is Mina using Pretty Girl Alley by KESS Design. Mina has a super cute round face and those iconic alien eyes. For her aspiration, I gave her party animal. I didn't really know what to pick, but it seemed like the most fun-loving aspiration, and it gave her the gregarious trait. I made her cheerful, and of course a dance machine. Finally, I made her romantic as well. She's always fawning over Todoroki and other hot guys, so I thought it would fit. She's also the #1 peer pressure for Ochako to admit her crush. My girl loves herself some love. Next is Sero using Francis by Barnver. Sero has pretty big eyes and a pointy nose, so I was able to capture those features. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but the mouths are closed by default in the Sim, and I didn't feel like getting a mod that shows teeth, so Sero's mouth is closed. Shout out to YesCyclops for these slightly disturbing but amazingly accurate elbow tape dispensers. His aspiration was also really hard to pick. I ended up with party animal as well. For his traits, I picked goofball, bro, and art lover since he had the fanciest room and is a connoisseur of interior design. Next is Ojiro using Valentine Bloom by Zoe Melissa 16. Speaking of which, did y'all see how Pony freaking roasted my boy during the AV battle arc. The awesome tail comes in 2 poses from YesCyclops, and for his hair, I ended up doing another recolor of it since it looked really 2D. His aspiration was tough as well. I just gave him Renaissance Sim. For his traits, I picked proper. He is very proper. And I also gave him athletic since that's the whole basis of his quirk. He has to be athletic because he doesn't really have anything else he can rely on. I also made him good since he has the heart of an angel, putting up with everyone roasting him all the time. Next is Hagakure, the easiest girly to make. Bless Aizawasbby for the Hagakure gym uniform, thank you so much. For her aspiration, I picked celebrities since she loves the camera and the spotlight. I made her cheerful, romantic, and squeamish since I'm pretty sure she's also on the Todoroki train and she was really freaked out when she got covered in mushrooms. I mean, to be fair, who wouldn't, but I don't know. Next is Sue, best girl, froggy boy. Again, here's a bit of the process for the hair recolor. Hers was a lot of fun because of all the little shines. For Sue, we're using a base sim by Angelic Trait. The first step was to give her a wide mouth and really big eyes. Not gonna lie, I think she looks a little bit creepy, but I think she would look creepy in real life too. I gave her a bit of a hunch and big feet like a frog. Her aspiration was tough, but I picked big happy family since she has a lot of siblings and really loves them. She probably wants a big family like that as well. It comes with the domestic trait that builds familial relationships faster, which makes sense since I know she's really close with her family. I also made her family oriented and a child of the ocean since she loves the water and the ocean. I wish there was a level-headed trait, like the opposite of hot-headed, but there isn't, so I just gave her the loves outdoors trait since her favorite thing is the rainy season. Next up is Sato. For his hair, I took another base game hair and tweaked it. I was gonna use the CC hair for Gon from Hunter x Hunter since it's really similar, but all the links were broken and I can't seem to find it, so here we are. Maybe later I'll make a Gon hairstyle. Let me know if you guys want to see that. For Sato, we're using Romare by Barnver. First thing is to change the lips. One of Sato's defining features is big lips, so we gotta make them boys luscious. I also feel like Sato's the most adult looking out of everyone in the class. His face is just very sculpted and he has huge muscles. He also cooks, which means that he has his life together. For his aspiration, I gave him bodybuilder. His quirk is really just physical strength, so there we go. I gave him the athletic and bro traits since I imagine he likes watching sports, and I also gave him the foodie trait. Next is Tokayami using the beautiful Tokayami head by Aizawasbby. He was pretty straightforward with his build. For the aspiration, I chose best-selling author. I don't know why, but he just really reminds me of Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know. For his traits, I gave him gloomy since he's edgy and dark, and I also gave him loner and proper. Second to last is Mineta. So for his hair, I really tried to do the minimal amount of work here. I just threw 4 balls on a base game hair and called it a day. Of course, I was obligated to make different color swatches since I did that for all the others, so there they are. Jesus Christ, this is so cursed. I hate everything about this, oh my god. Anyway, I gave him the aspiration of serial romantic. I also gave him the romantic trait as well as goofball and jealous. I wasn't really sure what traits to give him, so that's that. Finally is Shinsou using Harvey Jansen by Nina 6678. I know he's not in class 1A, but I had to make him in either this video or the next one, and the next video is going to be pretty long because I'm going to have to make a lot of CC for class 1B. I also made eyebrows for him since they're a unique shape and color. The beautiful hair is by DroSims. For his aspiration, I just picked Renaissance Sim. Again, this would be a lot easier if superhero was an aspiration since it seems to be the uniting factor with everyone at UA. For his traits, I gave him gloomy and loner. I also gave him good because that's a pretty clear part of his character. So So that's it for Class 1A. I'll be doing Class 1B next week. Some of the CC will be released next week with the 1B video. The skins in iPack, for example, are still being fixed and added to as I work on additional characters, so they're incomplete at the moment. But again, all of the CC is linked in the description below, and I'm going to put it all on a blog post on my website for easy access. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know if you have any feedback, what you think, or if you ever want any recolors of all of the CC I make, just let me know. Also, we're reaching 700 subscribers. I mean, what the heck? My channel's growing so fast. I don't even know what to do. I really appreciate it, guys. I'll try to compile a list again, as I do, of a bunch of people who interact with the channel and really help me out. I know everybody has, but I can't fit 700 people on one page, so I'll just put a bunch of them. I don't know. I'll try to include a variety of people at the end of every video from now on, just to thank you all. So thanks again, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!